Hey, what's up, you guys? Jeff Cohn here with another episode of the Team Building Podcast, where we interview top team leaders, broker owners, and thought leaders from across the country. We are bringing you this live from Omaha, Nebraska, currently in my 300 square foot podcast studio. All of these episodes are recorded on video. So if anyone wants to watch, feel free to go out to Elite Real Estate Systems, click on podcast, or you can find us on YouTube. Of course, the podcast episodes can be found on all major podcast apps that are out there. The topic for today is the high-level team leader topic that we are launching the first Thursday in October, which is how to retain agents. But before diving into topic, I am just coming off of an amazing event that was hosted by Sisu, which was their REIGN event, REIGN, hosted in Salt Lake City, Utah. I was one of the keynote speakers at the event and spoke about everyone's why. Had amazing speakers there from Place, Livian, several other coaching organizations, several other thought leaders. It was a 2.5 day event, and they did an amazing job. So if you haven't booked your ticket for next year, I don't even know if they're available yet, be sure to participate in that event. Of course, Sisu is a company we continue to support. We have been using Sisu now for almost 4 or 5 years, and it is the ultimate tracking system when it comes to contract management, vision boards, display boards, calendaring, gamification, anything and everything under the sun associated to data. They've done a really great job with their API integrations, making it available across a lot of different platforms. So we can't say anything better about Sisu. For access to a link to sign up for Sisu and be able to take advantage of the Team Building Podcast discount, go out to eliterealestatesystems.com, click on tools, and click on Sisu. All right, so right now, obviously the market is softening. We're coming into the fourth quarter 2022 as we record this episode. And a lot of teams and brokerages are struggling to retain agents. Agents are looking for a place where they can make more money in less time with less energy. And so our team leader product, Elite Real Estate Systems coaching platform, we talk about every topic that we believe are pertinent to teams in the industry today. So the month of October, our focus will be on retaining agents, and there's several different rabbit holes that we're going to go down. So if you haven't learned more about our coaching product, please go out and set up a demo call. Just go to growwithers.com. You can schedule a demo call right there. We would love to get you on these Thursday high-level calls. It's a group mastermind, so there's 30 minutes of content and then 30 minutes of Q&A. The people that are in our world have been in our world for a very long time, and the cost is very competitive compared to other coaching organizations. It's usually $1,000 a month, but we're offering a special 50% off discount. Our pricing is going to go up in 2023 for anyone that's not currently an Elite Real Estate Systems client. So be sure to get out there and take advantage of the current pricing right now. That's going to run you about $497 a month. That also gives you unlimited access to the agent trainings for your agents every Monday and Wednesday, as well as our investor trainings on Tuesdays and our ancillary business trainings that we've been launching Thursday afternoons, which covers mortgage, title, and insurance. All right, so I became an agent back in 2006, sold real estate full-time for 6 years. 2011, launched a team. The first wave of agents, I had about 6 or 7 agents that came on in 2011. None of them were around within 12 months. And the reason for that is I did a very poor job at finding the right people to fit into my culture that had not been that had not been perfected yet. I was still in the process of understanding what a team looked like, what kind of a team I wanted to create, and what kind of a team I wanted to grow. And coming off the Sisu conference, I spoke a lot about our why. And I think when it comes to agent retention, it really comes down to the why. And I talked about this last month when I went into culture. It might have been 2 months ago. There's a podcast on culture that I shared, about 25-minute dissertation on my belief system around what true culture is and how it affects a team. So when a person in your world has the ability to self-actualize and know what they want, we help them define their why as to why are they showing up at work every day? Why are they working out? Why are they meditating? What's the purpose behind it? And so we have them create vision boards. So as we round this fourth quarter corner and get ready for 2023, I would encourage anyone listening to not only define their why for themselves, but equally importantly, make sure that you're helping those in your world define their why. And the reason for that is you then need to be sure that the business that you're creating is the vehicle that's going to allow the people in your world and yourself to be able to accomplish their whys in your world. If someone can't accomplish their why in your world, you're not going to be able to retain them. And what I've found time and time again is it's everyone's goal to make more money in less time with less energy, while empowering them to be able to accomplish their dreams. So first and foremost, what are your dreams? And then have you quantified that dream to say, if my dream is to take all of my family and my grandkids to Disney World, I'm going to need to save $50,000. And so for the next 24 months, I'm going to put away X dollar amount per month so that I can go on this Disney trip. If your real estate team is the vehicle that allows someone to generate the revenue, and you are the success manager or visionary that helps people save the money and hold them accountable to actually doing the day-to-day, month-to-month work to be able to then eventually go to Disney with the grandkids, they will never leave your world. So leadership is going to be key, becoming a stronger leader, holding people accountable to what they say they're going to do. So that's also going to play a major role in your ability to retain agents. Being the leader that actually cares about the people in their world, cares so much so that there's actually a process to sit down with each person, including administrative staff, to have a 20 to 30 minute one-on-one every week with certain metrics that are tracked and cataloged. And this is where Sisu comes into play. A leader that cares so much that their desire is to serve the people in their world by giving them the same opportunities that they themselves have today. And what I mean by that, I've always quoted the quote, true leaders serve their followers by giving them the ability to be just like them, by giving them opportunities to be just like them, by creating a world that allows the people in their world to be a part of it. And so every business entity I've ever created, people in my world have the ability to earn the right to be a part of it. So today, our insurance company and our title company that operate in the state of Nebraska, all of our agents that do over 100 transactions a year, starting January 1, 2023, can buy into ownership in those existing entities. It's based on how many deals they do to earn the right to be able to buy in to shares in those entities. My investment company, if somebody were to bring money to us and be a private money investor, we would open up opportunities for them to be able to invest in real estate. And we're in the process of putting together a syndication for the agents in the state of Nebraska as well, so that they can also be investing just like we are. So when it comes to agent retention, if they're following a leader that they see has the intention of continuing to grow themselves so that they can pour and provide more value into the people in their world, it's going to be more likely that they're going to want to stay. I think it's human nature to assume that people want to stay in your world because they're going to make more money in your world. It's not money itself. It's the freedom that money creates. It's checking things off that vision board. It's being able to have more time to spend doing the things that matter most to individuals. Money is simply the vehicle to live and lead the life of our dreams. So if you've created a culture that's just focused on money and not what money can do for people, then it's going to be a culture where people just chase the money, and they'll possibly leave you if somebody else is going to offer a better split. So I started the conversation today on this podcast around a lot of agents today are leaving teams and brokerages to chase the better commission. And it's not the commission itself. The reason they leave is because they don't believe you're the vehicle that's going to allow them to live and lead the life of their dreams and make more money in less time with less energy. So you don't need to give more people higher splits to keep them in your world. My suggestion is that you pay attention to a lot of the talking points that I'm speaking to today, and you start adding a few different pieces to your business that maybe you hadn't considered in the past. So to recap, we talked about vision boards. We talked about accountability. We talked about systems like Sisu to track. We talked about in that accountability meeting for 20 or 30 minutes, having certain metrics that are tracked that are quantifiable. So if someone wants to save money for a trip, you're making sure they're putting away money. If someone wants to lose weight, you're making sure they're getting on a scale once a week and tracking it. There has to be a key performance indicator that can be quantified so that they can see if they're getting closer to achieving their goal and then ultimately checking that thing off the list. Another item would be lead generation. A lot of people think they need to be on a team that creates leads for them because they don't want to take the risk of creating leads themselves. Of course, within Elite Real Estate Systems Team Leader Coaching, we have an entire month dedicated to lead generation, but I'll speak to it just for a few minutes. There's three types of leads. You have your sphere of influence, your outbound prospecting, which is like a door knocking or open house. It's someone that wouldn't be in your sphere. And then internet leads, which could be Google Ads, could be Zillow, could be your website, could be social media. As a true leader, we should serve the agents in our world, and we can better retain those agents by not only sharing with them that they should go work their sphere or outbound prospecting or internet leads, but showing them exactly how. And this is another piece to why Elite Real Estate Systems is so advantageous to team leaders, is we actually have a month dedicated to teaching team leaders on how to help the agents generate leads. And then in our agent training, we're teaching your agents how to generate their own leads from these 3 different buckets. Not all agents are great at open houses. Not all agents are great at expired leads. Not all agents are great at door knocking. And so as a leader, it's our responsibility to work with each agent to find the area that they're the best in. A lot of people have heard about the 80-20 rule. And what the 80-20 rule is that 20% of one's input typically gets them 80% of their output. And so what we find is there's agents that have been taught their entire career to just work open houses, that's the solution, that's where leads are going to come from. But at the end of the year, when you look at that agent's closed sales, you might come to discover that 10% of their deals came from opens and 90% came from the gym that they work out at, which would be outbound prospecting. And so if you come to realize that over 80% of your deals comes from any one particular bucket, that's where all of your time should be spent. And I think there's a mistake oftentimes that people assume everyone should go about doing real estate the same way. And we all know there's so many different ways to go about generating leads, buying leads or paying referral fees. There's no one right way. What I always tell agents, it's kind of like with a diet or a workout regimen. Do the thing you're going to do consistently over a long period of time so that you can become an expert at it and you can track your ROI. But more important than return on investment is also your time, return on time. And Sisu does an amazing job at helping you know if you spend $500 a month and you close 7 deals, what's your ROI on that investment? But then also what's your ROT? How many showings did you have to go on? How many follow-up calls did you have to make? How many listing presentations did you have to go on? How much time actually went into generating that revenue? So again, we can help the people in our world make more money in less time with less energy. So in addition to lead gen is lead conversion, being sure you're teaching your agents the best processes of not only generating a lead, but more importantly, the exact steps necessary to converting the lead at a high level. Over the last 10 years, we've converted the most amount of internet leads out of any company I've seen in the residential real estate space. If anyone listening knows of anyone that's converted more, I'll give you a $100 gift card to the restaurant of your choice. We've converted on the Boomtown platform 2,500 confirmed internet leads, generating us almost $20 million in gross commission revenue, of which our business kept 50% and paid out a 50% compensation to the agent that worked the lead. And what we have learned is the magic isn't in the lead. The magic is in the process of following up with the lead. We love using Boomtown. Boomtown does an amazing job at being smart and doing a lot of the work that an agent in the past had to do. It does it for you. So it will send out an automatic email after the person has searched homes. It'll send out an automatic drip and text messages based on the search that somebody did and the search that you might manually tell it to, or the text messages you might manually tell it to send out. It'll send listing updates based on the types of houses somebody looked at. So it eliminates a lot of the typical processes that somebody would normally have had to have done in the past. But what we found is a lot of people assume if they're working an internet lead, that person's ready to buy or sell a house today. And over the 2,500 closings that we've had in the last 10 years, the average buyer who bought a home and went under contract, it was a 6-month incubation process from the day they registered to the day they went under contract, and then another 60-day escrow before the agent got paid. And so setting realistic expectations around internet lead conversion is really important, or else people will start to say the internet leads don't work. The truth is the agents and the team leaders don't work the internet leads long enough to actually give them a fair opportunity. I've heard the nation average on internet leads is 1% or less than 1%. We've hovered around 2.5%. The point of diminishing returns with the outlay or assignment of internet leads we found is between 25 to 30 leads a month per agent. That you should expect a 3% conversion ratio. If you're doing more than 25 to 30, like let's say you're up to 50 or 60 leads a person, you're going to get down into the 1.5 to 2% conversion ratio. And if you do less than 25 leads, let's say it's 10 or 15 leads, agents start to lose interest because there's not enough opportunities, and that lead conversion also will drop off a little bit. So we found that sweet spot's about 25 to 30 internet leads. We're spending about $1 a click takes us 10 clicks to get a lead. So $10 a lead and closing at 2% makes it about $500 for a closed deal, and $500 to get 50 leads and to close one of them. So if in your market you're a $6,000 commission on average, you're gonna spend $500 to make $5,500. You're gonna give the agent $3,000 and you just pocketed $2,500. That's a 5x return. You go onto Zillow and any zip code, they're not going to ever promise you a 5x return. You can expect a 1.25 to maybe 2.5x return in most markets, not even 2.5. So those numbers have worked across the country. We have hundreds of real estate teams we've coached, and we've worked through the lead gen process with them. It's a very sticky factor when you bring agents in and you have leads that you can provide. But from an abundant mindset, not only will we provide the lead and the education behind converting the lead, we also teach them to generate their own leads. And there's a lot of people that want their agents to be hamsters on wheels. We want everyone to be a hamster on a wheel for long enough to become a leader so that they can teach other people to become hamsters on wheels, and then they teach other people to become hamsters on wheels. Ultimately, we want everyone to have an exit strategy if they want it. And what we've come to find out is that there's three types of agents. You've got a dependent agent, which is the agent that joins a team that needs the mentorship and support. You've got an interdependent agent, who's somebody who's already had enough support. They can kind of do their own thing, but they need to have the real estate brokerage as someone to lean on. And then you have an independent agent that maybe is already a broker. They just need a place to hang their license, but they're independent and they can survive on an island. You also have active roles and passive roles. And a passive role is passive income. It's like an investment where you aren't necessary and it'll grow over time and generate revenue to you, but you don't have to have any active part in it. A job is an active role where you have to actually show up to work to get paid. You could be an admin, you could be an agent, but you have to show up. It's like a receiver in football. If they're playing on a pro team, that's an active role. They can't make money as a pro receiver passively when it comes to playing in the game. Of course, they could with advertisements and stuff like that. So all of us, I feel like, should continually be looking for income to be able to generate passively. And as leaders, to help your agents become more sticky and be able to retain more people, we should be working with them to move from the dependent to interdependent and from interdependent to independent. And we should be helping them work from the active role to more of a residual revenue role instead of being reliant on the next deal. And the way that someone does that is building a team within your team. And we were one of the first teams in the country I know of that talked about teams within teams. And we were over at Berkshire Hathaway in 2015, and we got up to like 25 agents. And I always had that mindset that true leaders serve their followers by giving them the ability to be just like them. And I wasn't the broker owner, so I couldn't. I wasn't in a world where there could be multiple teams around me and I could generate revenue off of that, because they would just go hang their license at Berkshire. And so we started supporting the agents in building a little team within my real estate team. And so one of the topics for the month of October is going to be teaching you guys how to build teams within teams. But in a nutshell, you just teach the agent to do exactly what you're doing and have a compensation plan that makes sense, where your agent, who becomes a team leader in your team, can generate passive income off of agents that they recruit onto their team. And just think of it as a mentorship program for dependent agents. So would you rather bring a brand new agent in and train them yourself, or have a brand new agent come in as a recruit of one of your agents, and they then become part of your agent's team, and they train them and they support them, and one day that agent that's on your agent's team might end up leaving and become part of your team with your agent's blessing. And so we have a whole compensation plan that works, and it's really just kind of like a mentorship program, if you will. So we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about defining your why, creating a vision board, tracking it in Sisu, lead gen with Boomtown, lead conversion with Boomtown, teams within teams. The last thing that I want to touch on is systems. So we always had a keynote called Class, which covered culture, leads, accountability, systems, and strategies. So when it comes to agent retention, what systems and strategies are we plugging people into? How are we playing a role in helping them make more money in less time with less energy? Two of the biggest value adds I would say that we are offering today, and we've always offered since the team launched in 2011, one would be contract to close services. My agents aren't making money by doing their own contract to close. My agents aren't making money by putting lock boxes on the doors and putting signs in yards and printing off flyers and doing their own paperwork. And so from the beginning, we required all the agents paid a broker fee or broker commission. Every state has a different name for it, but they would pay a fee to the office, and that fee would go to a full-on contract to close admin or transaction coordinator. Today, we charge $600 on the buy, $600 on the sell. Part of that covers the compliance fee to make sure all the contracts are in compliance. And then it also covers the actual people that are doing contract to close for the agent. Sisu has created a contract to close platform that works very well, that's integrated with a lot of different software systems that are out there today and makes it very easy to manage the transaction. We zero base all of that with our agents. We try not to make any profit. If there's extra money, we hire more admin. You can use the money that gets generated to hire success managers or operations managers or marketing directors. We actually believe you can 100% zero base or offset all of your administrative staff overhead by charging a broker fee. So be cognizant of the fee you're charging, and please look at it as a value add so the agent doesn't have to spend time in a lower income producing activity. You can hire someone for $15 to $20 an hour, and your agents should be working for $50 to $100 an hour. $50 an hour is $100,000 a year. $100 an hour is $200,000 a year. So why would your agent be spending time doing a $15 to $20 an hour activity, which is the admin work? And then of course you can offset all of your overhead in the different admin positions, even outside of the TC. So it's pretty normal to expect 600 and 600. I have some teams here that charge 1,000 on the listing side. It's up to you as to what you want to charge based on the value that you're able to add or provide to the agents. The second thing that I'll touch on for today, to not take away too much from what the coaching calls are going to cover in October, is marketing packages. So separate from the listing broker fee or transaction fee, our brokerage offers marketing packages where if the agents choose to use us to buy one of the marketing packages, then our admin, our marketing director actually, will be responsible for doing all the marketing that runs behind a listing. And we have 3 different levels. One's $200, which we call basic. It's for like an investment property. It's just going to cover a sign, a lockbox, an email blast, and pictures. And then you have Elite, which covers all of those same things, and it has Matterport, a drone, and a couple other value adds, TPMCO, where we do like listing flyers. And then there's Luxury, and Luxury is going to include a couple more things like the drone, like I said earlier, more flyers, a professional leave behind that goes inside the house. And so the goal of the market center / brokerage / team is to provide every system and process for the agent so that they can make more money in less time with less energy. And so the agent's time should be focused on prospecting. Agents that are in an active role, their time should be spent prospecting and servicing the client. Everything else can be leveraged. And even the servicing part, when I say servicing the client, that's going on the listing presentation to get the seller to sign the listing agreement, and going on a buyer presentation to have a buyer sign an exclusive buyer agency agreement. Outside of that, that client can be leveraged by the agent hiring someone that works with those sellers and hiring someone that works with the buyers. And as leaders, the onus is on us. This podcast was created as a value add to help other teams and brokerages across the country become better when it comes to all of the different topics surrounding the real estate transaction, to become more profitable, to start thinking more outside the box on how to better add value to your agent, to better add value to the consumer, and then to start being cognizant of the fact that as the market starts to soften, how are there other ways where we can generate revenue off of a real estate transaction? What other ancillary businesses can we be thinking about, from a vendor relationship to a strategic partnership to then ultimately a joint venture or full-on ownership? And that's going to be the next iteration of the Team Building Podcast, is going deeper and deeper into conversations around these multipliers. And that's the thing I'm most passionate about, because a lot of brokers have a limiting belief and they're still just focused on the real estate commission. I can't believe how often people talk about profit share and downlines and all these things that only pertain to the real estate commission. What will happen if the commission goes away? How are you going to generate profit off your next transaction? Do you make money off the mortgage? Do you make money off refi? Do you make money off insurance? Do you make money off title? Do you make money if they end up using a certain landscaping company, cable provider, security system? There's all these other ways to generate profit, and no one's talking about it, especially the person that matters most, which is your broker or your team leader. And we want to change that messaging. And Elite Real Estate Systems is going to be bringing you the exact content necessary, and not only just the content, but the ability to partner with us. So there's a small teaser for those that have been arduously following the podcast over the last 5 to 6 years. We've recorded over 250 episodes, and we have thousands of episodes coming to you to help prepare you for this next market shift. We're going to be here to help support you guys. So if you'd like more information, again, about Elite Real Estate Systems, go out to growwithers.com, set up your call today, find out more about the high-level team leader calls, the ancillary business calls, the investor calls, and the agent calls for your agents. And then please go out, if you haven't already, and give us a quick shout out. If you found this podcast valuable, go out to whatever podcast app you're on or YouTube and give us a quick feedback. If it was in an interview with someone, you liked that episode, give a shout out to a person that I interviewed in the past, or call out the topic that I talked on, like today was specific to agent retention. Please give us 5 stars and then also a quick comment on the value that you've been able to get from these episodes. If there's anyone specific you guys want us to interview, don't hesitate to shoot me a message on my Instagram at Jeff M. Cohn, or go out to at EliteRealEstateSystems.com on Facebook or Instagram and make a comment on an author you want us to interview, or a celebrity you want us to interview, or a book you want me to talk about. We're more than happy to go down whatever rabbit hole you think would be pertinent to our overall audience. We continue to grow like wildfire. We're over almost 200,000 listeners a year. We think we'll hit the 1 million mark in the next year or two, and we're just going to continue to grow and want to offer massive value to our audience. So I appreciate your guys' loyalty as we round this fourth quarter corner in 2022 and the market starts to soften. I know a lot of people are nervous. Don't be nervous. Stay tuned to our next episodes. Keep listening to our content. Sign up for our coaching, which I believe is the most valuable coaching in the industry that's specific to helping prepare agents, teams, and brokerages for this market shift that's not only going to impact the ability to generate revenue, but maybe all commission revenue goes away. And how are we going to hedge for that? How are we going to respond when that cheese gets moved? What kind of ancillary businesses could we be investing in today so we're better prepared for this next potential market shift that's inevitably going to be coming? We're here to help support you guys. We're running a brokerage ourselves. We have over 120 agents across Nebraska. We have 9 independent offices, all attached to our brokerage. We get to beta test across Nebraska to test out these concepts to make sure that they work here across the Midwest, and that we get to test them across the country within Elite Real Estate Systems to make sure they work north, south, west, and east. And we're just very, very excited with where the market's going, because this is where the market that I came from in 2006. I'm excited for it to get soft and the neutral market, then to a buyer's market, and that's absolutely happening. So stay tuned for our next episode. Continue listening and following, and if you can come out to one of our upcoming events, you can find out all the event information on our site. We also have a free team building guide you can download, and we have upcoming team building workshops and summits coming in the forefront here over the next couple of months. So stay tuned for all of that. You can find out all that information at growwithers.com. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for our high-level team leader topic of October, which is retaining agents. And here's to an amazing fourth quarter in 2022.